You're listening to Release Your Resistance with Bex Beltran, episode 68. Welcome to Release Your Resistance. This is Bex. The only reason why any of us don't have what we want in life is because of our own resistance. Right now, I'm learning how to recognize and release my resistance, and this podcast tells you how you can release your resistance so that you can live the exact life that you want. Let's get started. Before I get into the topic today, I just wanted to give a little plug that I am hosting a really interesting discussion on Zoom next Wednesday about one of my favorite topics. You can probably already guess what it is, and you are invited. So listen all the way through to the end today to get all the details. But now let's go on to today's topic. A few weeks ago in the Bright Ideas and Brainstorms episode, I told you about how one of the bright ideas I have been implementing lately that I love so much is the intentional practice of giving myself credit. And let me tell you, it is working. The more I give myself credit intentionally, the more I notice the unwanted default habit sometimes popping up of discounting myself. So today, let's compare and contrast credits and discounts. We all probably have a basic idea of what these terms mean in accounting or math or even in our own personal financial situations. Maybe when we get money, like as a gift or a payment or as a paycheck, we credit that to our bank account and feel flush. We know we have money in the bank. We know we're fine and we can cover whatever we need to. When do we think about discounts? When we want something to be less. We ask for a discount on a product at a store when we notice that it has a flaw. Or if we're buying something from a personal seller, we might ask for a discount just to see if we can get the price lower. Why not? So what do credits and discounts have to do with our daily mindsets and perspectives? And in an even bigger sense, what do they have to do with our own self-worth? In finance, we could make the case that giving credit or having credit means giving or having something of value. And giving a discount would mean taking something away or marking it down to a lower value. And even though that is a very simplistic explanation that I'm sure some economists or marketers or analysts wouldn't agree with, my oversimplification, it is basically true of our own opinion of ourselves. When we give ourselves credit, we have a higher self-worth. And when we discount ourselves, we lower our own perception of our self-worth. What? Have I just blown your mind? When I made this comparison for myself, I kind of blew my own mind a little, especially because I thought, wait, is it that simplistic? And can that actually be true? That when we discount ourselves, we are lowering the value we see in ourselves? If true, then this is an urgent bad habit to remedy immediately. So how and when and why do you give yourself credit? We can give ourselves credit regardless of if anyone else knows about it or if anyone else would agree with us. We can give ourselves credit for the tiniest, most insignificant things as well as the big things. So yes, of course, you deserve credit when you pass the bar exam and when you close on a house and when you get married. And you can also give yourself credit when you remember to take the reusable grocery bags into the store with you, and when you say thank you to a stranger when they were polite, and when you take a breath instead of saying something snarky when your partner makes a dumb joke. You can decide what is creditworthy in your own life. And my advice is to be extremely generous. I don't think there's a downside. Let's talk about some ways to give yourself credit. And I have a few suggestions of how you can build the habit of giving yourself credit. A few that I've been doing myself and one that I haven't personally tried yet, but I am sure it will work. So try these out and report back to me to let me know if they do or don't work for you. The first one is the idea that I already mentioned. Prompt yourself to notice what you deserve credit for, either while journaling or with an alarm throughout the day. I love journaling, and I am such a big journaling advocate that I recently opened a journal and notebook shop. So, of course, one of my proven suggestions is that you give yourself credit while journaling. You can do this randomly and sporadically while you're just doing your regular writing, and you can sprinkle little specific prompts in the blank pages of your journal to remind yourself to give yourself credit for specific things, like 10 things I deserve credit for this past weekend, or 5 things I deserve credit for as a sister, or as a member of society, or as a partner, or whatever applies to you. You can also create a routine of giving yourself credit. Last year, I described how I have a monthly interview with myself with specific questions that I answer each month. And in the past few months, I have added a question about what I deserve credit for. And it's been really interesting to see how I answer that question every few weeks. Here's a suggestion that I haven't personally tried yet, but it might be perfect for you if you are not a journaler or a writer. You set a reminder on your phone to stop and give yourself credit. And now that I'm describing this method to you, I can think of so many variations. You could send yourself a time-delayed email that will show up in your inbox some random day, inviting you to think about what you deserve credit for. You could schedule a little meeting for yourself on your calendar to consider what you get credit for. You could use the same phone reminder at the same time each day, or you could randomize the time and the subject. So today at 3:33, you're listing things that you deserve credit for from this morning. And tomorrow at 10:10, you're remembering the things that you deserve credit for from the year 2020. Just get super creative. And it doesn't have to rely on technology with phone reminders and emails. A sticky note on your fridge or your mirror or your dashboard will work just fine too. By the way, I also love colorful sticky notes, and I strongly encourage their use at every opportunity. Another fun way you can give yourself credit is to thank yourself. Thank yourself and specific parts of you for what you are doing. This idea came up in the most fun way. My friend Connie and I were having one of our lovely phone conversations, and we were commiserating about how crazy our brains can be. Why do our brains come up with all sorts of crazy fears that we don't really need to be scared of? And somehow we got on the topic of positive reinforcement for our brains. So why don't we notice when our brains do some really good things for us, instead of always recognizing and noticing the unwanted brain behavior? So we started saying things like, "Good job, brain, for coming up with that great idea." Or, "Hey, thanks, brain, for remembering to grab the sunglasses for this walk." Or whatever big or little thing we could give our brains credit for in that moment. And then, as we always do on our talks, we went off tangent, and then we started thinking about other parts of ourselves that we could thank, like our eyes. Thanks, eyes, for seeing this path that I'm walking on, and all those pretty flowers in these bushes. And thank you, eyes, for seeing this biker who's headed towards me so I can step out of her way. Will you try this? Can you imagine yourself thanking your brain and your eyes? You can even thank your ears for listening to this right now. Hey, thanks, ears. In real estate and property ownership, we have the concept of appreciation, which I've just been talking about, and depreciation, meaning something can go up in value with time or it can lose its value over time. So let's be intentional about applying this concept to ourselves too. Let's try to always be in appreciation of what we do, how we are, how we look and what we have, and let's be aware of when we switch into depreciation. So think about what are the events and justifications that would cause you to move things into the depreciation column. I've heard people say, I'm too old, I've gained weight, or I'm broke, or I'm not that tech savvy. So in these examples, someone could be using an age, a measurement of weight, a balance in a bank account, or an inventory of skills known compared to skills not known to influence their own perception of themselves, to influence their description of their self-worth. And I realized the connection between depreciation and self-worth when I thought about someone who I know who's always making little mean-spirited jokes about herself. Of course, I know they are just jokes. Of course, I get that this is a specific type of humor. And it's not lost on me that this is called self-deprecating humor. Why would we ever do this on purpose, regularly? Now, I've heard the suggestion to use self-deprecating humor to break the ice when you are introducing yourself to someone or at the beginning of a speech. And I can see the one-off value of that because I do agree that laughter and humility can help people let down their guards and open up. But if you use self-deprecating humor as a standard gimmick in your life, would you consider cutting back or experimenting with just going cold turkey to see how it feels without it? And okay, so here's a cute and maybe ironic little confession. I thought the phrase was self-depreciating, which is why I included it in this section. But apparently it's not self-depreciating, it's self-deprecating. And my Google Doc spell check pointed out my error and corrected me. Okay, well, thanks, Google Doc, and thank you, Funny Brain, for that silly little misunderstanding. I appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about the downside. This is a resistance check time. Do you notice any but coming up as you are hearing my theories and my suggestions? Maybe there is a downside. Maybe people can give themselves too much credit. Okay, what would that look like? Someone who's totally conceited, someone who is full of themselves, someone who frequently tells other people all the things they get credit for. Yes, I have met those people like that too. And we can all make up our own judgments and our own stories about these people. We can decide how much of our time and attention we want to give these people. And I wonder if maybe these people might just be overcompensating for their own discounted thinking. I haven't fully formed my opinion on this yet. If it's possible to give ourselves too much credit, honestly and authentically, I kind of doubt it. And I am open to being convinced otherwise. So if you have a strong stance on this, please let me know. And now just to finish up with a real life example of how I've used this giving myself credit and appreciating myself in a real life situation when I was being a little self-deprecating. One day in the earlier morning, as I was journaling, I wrote that I didn't like how I looked because I was thinking about I was going to be recording a video later in that day. So I just accepted and I wrote, well, this is how I look. So that's like acceptance. And then a few hours later, I looked in the mirror and I was going to pull my hair back. And again, I noticed some mean little thoughts popping up about having a bad hair day. And these were tiny little depreciating thoughts. They were so subliminal and so normal and so quiet, but I did catch them, probably because this work has been on my mind so much lately. So instead, I said, thank you, hair. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so pretty. Thank you for being blonde. Thanks for being cut in a cute style by my stylist, Cindy. And I immediately felt more hopeful and lighter. I still knew I would look however I looked in the video. I knew I wouldn't look better than how I actually did look, but suddenly I felt better. And I am 100% sure that makes a difference in how I show up on camera and in life too. So maybe I am completely ridiculous for talking to my hair while I look in the mirror. You know what? I don't care. It was fun. It made me feel good. It lightened my mood, so I'm recommending it. In short, this whole episode is a recommendation to give yourself credit. Appreciate yourself. Notice when you do discount yourself and cut out any self-depreciating, self-deprecating, however you say it. Cut out any of that type of humor if you have that as a habit. What have I left out in this topic? What am I overlooking? How do you do this for yourself in your life already? Let me know. Send me an email at hi@bexb.org or leave a comment in the show notes for this episode at bexb.org/credit, CREDIT. Okay, 2 things I want to mention before I go today. On Wednesday, April 28th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time, I will be hosting a journal discussion on Zoom. We will be talking about types and methods of journaling. Did you guess that was the topic? So we'll talk about what's worked for you, what hasn't worked, why and why not, what you might wish for in your perfect journal and your perfect journaling routine. So just go to bexb.org/let's meet. LETSMEET for the Zoom link, and I hope to talk with you on Wednesday night. It's 4/28/21 at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time. I hope you can make it. And the second thing to tell you about, if you feel inspired by today's episode and want a sweet little dedicated journal to remind yourself to be grateful and thank yourself for everything that you deserve credit for, I have 2 gratitude journals in my journal shop right now. One is called A Latte to Be Grateful For. Isn't that cute? And it has a little watercolor coffee cup on the cover. And the other one is part of a mindset journal series, and it is specifically for daily gratitude journaling. And you can see those 2 and all of the other journals at bexb.org/quickshop, QUICKSHOP. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me just now. Have a great week, and I will see you next Friday, if not sooner. This has been Release Your Resistance. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, make sure you're subscribed and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Also, think about someone who you know who would love this episode and share it with them. There should be a share button on your app if you're listening to this on your phone. If you'd like to continue this conversation one-on-one or in real time, come visit me on my site at bexb.org to see how we can work together.